Good. Listen, I had a question for you just about David Curry. How has he come along, and what do you need from him this season? Would you say?
Sure. There's just a little bit of lag, but I'm getting your question. Um, I need him to be himself. I do. He was a warrior for us last year. Even through adverse times, he played tough. He played physical. He played consistently. And then again, I probably say this more often than not, but you just can't replace game reps. So just the accumulation of reps that he has in big time games versus big time opponents like Florida State, you cannot replace. So by no means do I think the moment will be too big for him. We all kid, he's a 6th, 7th year senior. So there's the experience, the maturity down in this environment, the leadership that he brings and involves. But outside of that, I need him to be himself. I think he has a strong self-awareness of what he does well, and then the things where he's deficient. He's taking great pride in this off-season, in this fall camp leading up to this game to try to overcompensate, to try to make better the deficiencies that he has, and just an incredibly conscientious kid. So I need him to be himself, and then that being himself is he'll continue to be a leader and lead our defense. Communication is critical for what we do, and his voice should be louder than anyone else on the field, setting the defense, creating the energy, and then at the end of the day, he's going to go make some plays and have a really good day on Saturday. He's ready, he's prepared, and he has the right mindset.
Okay, our next question is from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, good morning, Andrew.
Hey, good morning, Rod.
Norvell and Florida State, they're known for setting up the pass with the run. How has your group looked against the run, and what do you see from the Florida State running back group?
Sure. I'll be a little bit long-winded. Certainly we're watching quite a bit of Memphis film from this past season, Jay Norvell being the head coach. That offensive coordinator did stay behind. Kenny Dillingham came from Auburn, but Kenny was also with Coach Norvell at Memphis 2 years previous. And then they also have a different offensive line coach that was the offensive coordinator at Charlotte. So there's a mix of what they can do. Within reason, we're going to have a plan for things that we see on tape. But at the end of the day, we've got to have a base defense. We've got to be able to block, destruct. We've got to be able to get aligned. We've got to be able to have our eyes in the right spot, communicate and execute with so many unknowns in these situations. But back to your question. What was the totality of the question, Rod?
Yeah, what do you see from their running back group? I know
Yeah,
they
from the running
lost
back group, I got
their
you.
big runner to the draft. But
Gotcha. You're talking about them establishing the run. Yeah. Sorry about that. We just had a 2-hour practice out here, and I'm spent. I let it all go today. I asked the kids to do it, so I did too. But to your point, they last year at Memphis, their identity was to run the football, right? Everything, to your point, they made it very quarterback friendly. Quarterbacks took early shot plays, or they took easy free access plays. Everybody loves that word, RPOs, but they weren't a big drop back pass team. So they established the run, boundary run team, tight end run team, and they had an elite running back at Memphis this past season. What do we see from these running backs? We have film from the projected starter, who's a Texas A&M transfer, and they've got a young man as well that was a walk-on that earned a scholarship that we have film on of him playing late in the season, including the bowl game, and they have balance in what they do. They both have different traits. You know, it would be a Jahmyr Gibbs to a J.P. Mason type deal. They have different traits. So I'm sure that they'll have balance, they'll have power, they'll have speed, they'll have elusiveness, they'll have routes, 5 outs where they get them out as well. But back to your point, they want to establish the run. What have we done? We've gone back to base fundamentals, base techniques, and we've expended a lot of time on our defensive line with body types, with strength, and then with base fundamentals to be able to get ourselves in situations that are friendly on 2nd and 3rd down. So we struggled this past season on 1st down, being able to stop the run. We got ourselves often in bad situations on 2nd and 3rd down that are lower efficiently. So base techniques, and then certainly by scheme, being able to bring patterns, to bring pressure with calculation.
Next question from Alex Glaze, 11 Alive TV here in Atlanta.
Hey, Coach. Just when you look at Florida State and look at Blackman and what he's been able to do there. What do you see? What challenges does he present, and how are you guys preparing for? I guess it's easier to prepare for a quarterback that does have some tape.
Sure. Yeah, sure. And then we've got Pro Football Focus. We're able to just pull all of his plays and just see what are his traits. What are his traits? He's an elite talent. Just like Jeff Sims is a dominating, imposing figure in terms of his height and just his stature. That's what James Blackman, I think they list him at 6'5", and he looks like he's 6'5" on tape. He's got a live arm. He excels better with vertical footballs. In the past, what's been the knock on him, it's been inconsistent. I can't compliment Coach Norvell, Coach Dillingham, and the bunch. They do a great job of making their system friendly for the quarterbacks to not make him do too much to process things. And by no means am I saying James Blackman can't process. I'm just saying he's had inconsistencies in the past that have detoured his seasons. But the talent's always been there, the physical size and the arm talent. Now, again, it's just how they melt it together to make it friendly for him. That young man's faced adversity. He has. When you go through seasons as a starting quarterback for a high-profile program and there's inconsistencies, whether you're the starter or not, he's gone through some adversity. So now he's a senior, I'm assuming. Obviously, I don't know the lens that they look through, but I'm assuming he's been through a lot of battles and has some more maturity through those moments. I don't think they would be starting him if not. But size, arm talent, enough elusiveness to get out of the pocket, and just growth and maturity is what I would expect. But they don't make the game too difficult on him. They're going to rely on their run game. They're going to rely on easy throws for him and see if they can get him in a rhythm. So certainly we've got our hands full, and it's our job to not allow him to get into a consistent rhythm.
Okay, we'll have time for a few more for Coach Thacker. We'll start with Zach Klein from WSB TV here in Atlanta.
Thanks, Coach. What's the biggest trait and characteristic you look for when deciding when to flip guys from positions? And was there ever a time when, Bruce just lit up Jerry and now he's getting payback?
That's a great question. Yes, yeah, there's been some collisions with those two guys. So yeah, referring to Bruce Jordan Swilling and Jerry Howard, actually flipping positions from running back to linebacker. So there's been some collision. There's been some competitive situations. Every day we do some type of competitive scenario, be it pass rush one-on-one, be it routes, be it some open field tackling with those guys. So they've definitely had some matchups. They have some fun with it, and a little talking, a little jawing right there. But a lot of that was their desire to play those positions, and if they excelled at those positions, we gave them the opportunity, and they found a fit. So part of it was them being able to express themselves, the head coach giving them an opportunity, and finding a new environment. I think that's for a lot of us in life, in atmosphere, in jobs, and certainly in our role within the organization of football. Sometimes you just need a fresh start. You need a little reset button within the framework, within the context of the team, and maybe that's a better fit for them. So they both found a fit. Coach Bruce has done a great job in Coach Toyce's room, and then I'm really pleased with Jerry, his progress. And Jerry brings a very intangible quality to our football team, just in terms of maturity, in terms of his alignment with the culture, and he's great for my room in particular.
Okay, time for a couple more. We'll start with Ken Segura from the AJC.
Hey, Andrew. Someone we haven't heard his name is Jaquan Griffin. I'm curious, kind of, what have you seen from him in terms of bid for playing time here?
Cool. Hey, Ken, it cut out just a little bit, but I think you asked about Jaquan Griffin. Is that accurate?
That's right.
Yeah, cool. Incredibly pleased with him. Coach Knight has done a phenomenal job. He is a big part of what we do. I'll say that much. A big part of what we do. Jaimin Brooks, TK, and Jaimin have given us a strong three-man rotation in sides. And then for all, just to be completely honest with you, for all of the size, height, and physical traits that Jaquan lacks, he has made up for it with detail, with effort and with execution. He is playing really good football. And what some people may see as a detriment to his height, he uses it to his advantage by playing with low pad level, using his power, using his strength, using his leverage, and he is playing really consistent football. I could not be more pleased with Jaquan Griffin. Now let's just go do it versus a really good opponent on Saturday. But he has had an excellent fall camp, and I'm glad you asked about him. Really pleased.
Okay, two final questions for Coach Thacker. We'll start with Patrick Canaro from the Dahlonega Nugget, and then we'll finish up with Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Good morning, Coach. I got a follow-up question for their quarterback, Blackman. Is he the kind of guy, would you characterize him, is he a little quick to tuck the ball and make a run out of a called pass play, or the other way around? And as a defensive coordinator defending against him, which of those traits do you prefer for this weekend? That's kind of a tangled question.
That's a tangled question, yeah. So we would prefer to play quarterbacks that don't keep their eyes downfield when the play breaks. So to your point, he's had a long time to develop and grow. He's in a new system, so I can't make judgments. But you asked us to characterize us in a true drop back scenario pass when the initial read is not quiet friendly. He's had the tendency to bring his eyes down. The just absolutely dominant quarterbacks, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, which is unfair to compare anyone to him. He will extend plays and continue to keep his eyes downfield. But James Blackman certainly has enough physical traits, enough athleticism, enough escapability, also once he leaves the pocket, to be difficult to bring down. I think you're accurate on your characterization. Which would we prefer? We would prefer the one that creates a negative play. So whichever one gives us that, we'll go there. But we're certainly no quarterbacks and running backs and skill players. They're personalities, and we try to go from there. But certainly just as we've developed as individuals and as a defense, they've developed as well. So we've just got to go play football and execute at a high level.
Final question from Kelly Quinlan from Rivals.
Andrew, I was curious about basically the second linebacker position. You have David, who's kind of the anchor, and then you have Quez and Demetrius and Jerry are the other guys that are ATL, and kind of who you see maybe stepping up there. And then the other thing that I noticed watching games this past weekend was there were some issues with the e-whistle and stuff. Do you talk to your guys about tackling and trying to finish plays to make sure you don't end up in some weird situations because of the whistle situation?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we put out the above-the-line depth chart, so all those guys will be in the mix. I've talked about David, and really pleased with where Demetrius and Quez are. I would see those guys getting the bulk of the reps, and Jerry kind of being in that fourth tier of getting reps. But they've done a great job. Quez gives us some multiplicity at that position, playing Mike and Will. And gives us a lot. That's a lot to ask of him, but he's done a great job in execution of assignment and proved himself on the latter part of last season and having some playmakeability. And then we've spent a lot of time talking about Demetrius, his development from being a quarterback out of high school to playing as a true freshman at linebacker this past season. So now he's in his second year as a linebacker, and just the amount of reps that we've had to get him to be able to play quality football on Saturday will be really good. Yeah, the whistle. I was watching Navy BYU, and it came up again last night. And a big piece of it will be the environment as well. There's a certain amount of people that can be at Florida State. They are allowing fans. I watched the Navy game last night, and it was completely empty. So that's something that we are trying to communicate to our kids. We're trying to prepare for, but like in life, you don't know what you don't know. I also heard Jeff Monken's comments after the Army game. He talked about Woody literally making adjustments from the sideline for something he's never been able to do. So certainly we try to prepare for every single scenario that can come up, but there's some unknowns in this new environment. But we're going to tell our guys to go. We're going to tell them to play through the whistle, and if there's no clear whistle, we'll tell them to play smart football. But we've got to get guys down. When you watch some football games early in the season, right, everyone's fear on defense is what will be the quality of tackling. So today, Tuesday, is our heaviest lifting day in terms of tackling, in terms of a physical sense. So that's the thing that we're most concerned with. So we're not going to do anything egregious, but we're not going to do anything to pull them back for us to be efficient and productive tacklers to get really good ball carriers that Florida State has down.